Today's lesson is based on trig equations. We're going to do some exercises from past question papers. Alright, this is our question, and all we have to do is substitute. For x is 30.5 degrees. Where x is, put 30.5, and where y is, you're going to put 130.5 degrees for y. For this section, you will need a calculator, substitute, and use your calculator to get the answer. You can pause the video, try it, and check the answer. We'll get tan 161 degrees, calculator, equal. Our answer is negative 0.34. Now looking at the negative is not a problem. If you understand 161 degrees, which quadrant will that be on the Cartesian plane? Top right quadrant is called quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is top left quadrant. Notice that tan is negative in quadrant 2. Notice that sine is positive in quadrant 2. Only sine positive. That means the other functions will be negative in quadrant 2. So tan 161 degrees is equal to a negative 0.34. Okay, the next question is cosec y minus x in brackets. Notice we have to work out the brackets first. Just remember that. What are the values we're going to substitute? The same x and y values. Substitute those values into the brackets. Subtracting the two numbers, we'll get 100. Notice we have cosec. This is a reciprocal function of sine. Okay, so notice that when we have cosec 100, it'll be 1 over sine 100. Please study the reciprocal functions on the right hand side. Punching that into our calculator, we will get 1,02. Our next topic is identity equations. So remember, we get cos squared theta plus sine squared theta is equal to 1. That can be manipulated in terms of cos squared theta or manipulated in terms of sine squared theta. Let's first manipulate it in terms of cos squared theta. Notice I'll have to move plus sine squared theta over to the right hand side. This will become minus sine squared theta. A plus will become minus when moved to the other side. And now we have cos squared theta equals 1 minus sine squared theta. We can manipulate it now to make sine squared theta the subject of the formula. To make sine squared theta subject of the formula, I would need to move plus cos squared theta over to the right hand side. It will become a negative cos squared theta on the right hand side. I now have made sine squared theta subject of the formula. Keep these two things in mind for the next set of questions. Because the question says cos 36, we will have to make cos theta subject of the formula. So we want cos theta as the subject of the formula. What will you do to both these sides in order to be left with cos theta? How about square rooting both sides? If both sides are square rooted, we will be left with cos theta on the left hand side. In the question, it was given that sine 36 is equal to k. Okay, here we're going to use that trig identity. Don't forget, make cos theta subject of the formula. To make cos theta subject of the formula, we will square root both. Right, we need to substitute sine 36 into that. Substituted. Now notice that sine 36 is equal to k. So where I see sine 36, I can replace it with k. So cos of 36 degrees is equal to the square root of 1 minus k squared. And that is our answer. Where k is, we can substitute sine 36. Punch it into your calculator as it stands, and you will get the final answer for cos 36. It'll look like that on the screen. On our calculator, sine 36 equals 0,5877. It continues. Square the answer. you will then get an answer. Put that now under the square root sign. That's the square root of 0,655 equals. On our calculator, we get 0,8093, round off to 2 decimal places. Look at the 9, the 0 will jump 1 up. We'll get 0,81 as a final answer. The next question, sine 216 degrees. Remember that it's a continuation of the question. If sine 36 is equal to k. Okay, so here you have to use the reduction formula. Pause the video, try it out, see how it goes. Okay, so 180 plus theta. So 180 plus 36 will give us 216. Which quadrant will that be in? So if 180 is the straight line, 180 plus theta puts us into the third quadrant, AST. Notice that tan is positive in quadrant 3. All the other functions will be negative. So this means our answer will be a negative sine 36. And if we get negative sine 36, this means our answer is negative k. Right, I hope you understand this one. Don't forget that sine 36 is equal to k. So if I get negative sine 36 as an answer, negative k. In the next equation, it's a trig equation. It says solve for theta. So we can simplify the right hand side just by using our calculator. In our calculator, we will punch in 2 sine 38,1. We get an answer of 1,23. We're going to need to move tan over to the other side to be left only with theta on the left hand side. We have to punch in shift tan open brackets 1,23. Answer is, do note that tan is positive. Now in grade 10 you could just leave it like that. That was the answer. It was good enough. But notice we're dealing with trig on the Cartesian plane, so we have to solve this trig equations for all the quadrants of which tan would be positive. So tan is positive in quadrant 1. Which other quadrant will tan be positive? ASTC rule. T, third quadrant, tan is positive. That's going to be 180 plus theta. Right. So adding the two numbers, 180 plus theta, the quadrant 1 answer, in other words, we now get 230,9 degrees. That is trig equations. Do look at more examples from the textbook and other resources you might have. Hopefully you can understand this section.